now.
There it is.
So, Rick Dollar here, and I am with the man himself, Justin Moses. Justin, how are you today, sir?
I'm great, Rick. How are you doing this morning?
I guess you are doing good. That new record just came out today on
It
all
came
these
out.
platforms, you know?
Yeah, it's finally out there where people can hear it. So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, we've been, the radio show side of everything that we do. We've been playing a lot of cuts off this record, and I've kind of been, waiting for this to happen, just to hear what the
Man,
rest of it's like.
well, I appreciate you playing the tunes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. You fall right in there with what we do, and I think with what is happening with bluegrass and Americana music these days, it's it's, you don't want to go too far from a little bit of traditional. You got to kind of hear that in there, and I definitely can hear that with the music that you do, the influence of guy, the early guys. So
Yeah, well, I'm very rooted in just in bluegrass music. That was my, my whole background, and so that's I think that's the guiding star or whatever
yeah,
for
exactly.
everything I do. But obviously, yeah, I've been influenced by a lot of different music, so hopefully, all that stuff finds its way in somehow.
Oh, no doubt about it, man. No doubt. But
Yeah.
what I was really impressed with was a lot of the musicianship. I talked to a lot of people, and not a lot of people have positive things to say about this type of music these days. And I always wonder why, because John Cowan told me one time there are so many very able musicians, and I'm quoting his words, and guys,
Mhm.
there's guys out there that can play their ass off, and you guys do this too. This what you do is incredibly good. I love the dobro kind of thing happening with a lot of your music. That's a personal thing for me. I just love the way it sounds. But
Yeah.
you also did a couple of cuts there. You did a cut with Tominski, which is was a good song, and that's going to be something we're going to play on Net Radio Dogs Roadshow this week, with you being the spotlight artist and all. But you did something with
Yeah.
Sierra Hull, and
Hmm.
another very able musician. I don't want to say
Yeah.
poor John. He's probably going to kill me for this, but a lot of what you did, with Del McCurry, the whole McCurry family is legendary in what they do, and you've got some really good cuts on this album, and
Man, thank you very much.
so
Yeah, I
where did you do most of this?
most of the tracks were recorded at Skaggs, at Ricky Skaggs' studio, and then I've got a good friend that co-wrote a couple of songs on the album, Tom Utes, who has a studio at his
Yeah,
house, and I
Mr.
did.
Mr. Grammy nominated Tom
Yeah,
Hughes.
nominee. Yeah,
You got to mention that.
yeah, did quite a bit of that there, and I also recorded a lot of my own overdubs here at home too. So
Yeah,
it's a mixture, but the main tracks were recorded at Skaggs'
isn't
place.
it amazing how COVID hits, and we all gotta drop back and punt and say, "Hey, how can I do this?"
You got to learn how to do everything basically these days,
Yeah,
produce videos, just create audio shows, do whatever you got to do. Yeah.
yeah. I've seen
To
some
get by.
family members making making
Yeah.
appearances in videos these days. You're thinking, "Hey, that looks like his grandmother." Hey, comes out on her walker, what part she's playing.
uh,
But it's
uh,
that's music these days. What are we gonna do? And people
got to
want to
do what
know
you got to
something
do.
about you too, man. You're kind of a
Yeah.
personal guy. You're kind of a guy that keeps everything kind of
I
close to
keep
the
things a
chest
little
there.
close. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes I do, but I don't know that there's any reason behind it or any purpose behind it.
Right.
I just always, from the time I was a little kid, like as a toddler, basically, I was always kind of shy and backward, and then I don't know, I've slowly progressed in that regard as I've
Yeah,
gotten older, but
exactly.
I'm still slowly progressing into
Aren't we all?
becoming more. more of an actual person, but no, just kidding.
No, well, what do you do in your off time other than music? I mean, what interests you?
At this point, I am. I definitely like music is career, hobby, all those things. So
Right.
I love to do that and be involved with. But I'm a huge sports fan.
Oh,
I
really?
watch sports. Yeah, baseball is my favorite sport.
Okay, we could talk about that
But
now. Now you're in the
all
meat and
right, let's
potatoes
talk.
of what I do.
All right, yeah.
So I've been
Um.
a Yankees fan since I was 10 years old, and not a lot of
Oh
people know that. Yeah. Well, uh-oh. I get that
no,
reaction a
no, no,
lot.
no.
So how many
I've
World
been
Series
playing.
rings did you guys buy?
Hey, you know, I was a teenager in the '90s, and so I got to watch those Yankee teams of the '90s that were just amazing, and
They
I
were.
became a fan of them during that period for sure. And Jeter, being such a superstar and a great guy seemingly, and no, but I've always been a Cincinnati Reds fan for
Oh,
whatever reason.
really?
I grew up in East Tennessee, and
Where in East
uh,
Tennessee?
a little town called Madisonville.
Where
It's
is that?
over
Now I
in
grew up in
it's
Bristol. Where?
yeah,
How far away is that from where we were?
it's about 2.5 to 3 hours, something like that from Bristol, I would say. But it's south of Knoxville, so
Oh, I got
between
you.
Knoxville and Chattanooga, over there
Okay.
in the next to the Great Smoky
Yeah,
Mountains,
exactly.
down in the foothills of it there. But I think I became a Reds fan just as a result of like turning on the TV one Saturday morning or evening and the game of the week. That used to be the thing. It was
Yeah,
the game of the week,
every Saturday.
and yeah. And so I think it was a Reds and Dodgers game or something, and then and the Reds just pounded them that particular day, and I'm like, oh, those guys, I like that team, and I just, I mean, I was probably 9 or 10 years old, but I've been a fan of them since.
That's
So
amazing. Did you ever get to go to any Reds games?
yeah, I never got to as a kid, and so when I started playing music and traveling around, that's something that I definitely wanted to do, and so I think since the year 2010, I believe that was the first time I actually got to go to a game in Cincinnati, and I think I've been every year with the possible exception of one. Yeah,
Wow,
so I try to go at least once a year and see them play a game.
man. See, I
And a
was
couple of times, I've been playing out in Arizona during spring training or
oh,
something.
there
I'll
you
get
go.
to drop in there too.
The
So
old Cactus
it's
League.
kind of cool. Yeah, yeah.
Now I got the chance in 2007 to see my first live Yankees game, and it was the first season of the new stadium,
Yeah.
field level seats. I mean, we did, everything just worked out that night. But I'm sitting there drinking a $7 beer, and I'm thinking, I'm hearing all these people up in left field up here, and or actually right field, where they had the short fence, they called it, and they
Hmm.
were having a ball, having a
Oh yeah.
blast. So the guy sitting next to me, I'm like, I knew that the seats that me and my wife were sitting in were $1.25 a piece, but we were like right
Yeah.
behind first base, which not too shabby. But these guys up in
Not at
right
all.
field were having a ball. They were, doing the what they call the roll call at Yankee Stadium. So they would go
Hmm.
around the infield and they would, do a little chant with each person there. And I asked the guy, I said, "How much are those seats up there?" And the guy's like, $15. It's like, why am I sitting here? So
Yeah.
I wanted to be close, I mean, but good Lord,
And
I had a
sometimes if
better
you
shot
wanted
at
to,
getting a baseball up there, man. No doubt about it.
oh, I know that's a thing sometimes. Yeah.
Wow. So you're
Yeah. I've tried to sit, everywhere in the stadium that I can and just get a feel for the different areas. But anyway, I think Great American Ballpark's a really cool park to
yeah,
see a game at too. So
you're right.
yeah,
You're right.
I'd love to go to Yankee Stadium. Never had the chance yet, but
Well, it was really strange that night. There was an electricity in the air that I could not describe.
yeah.
And it was just odd. And then so I hear this guy, big guy up here, screaming and yelling, up here. behind home plate, and Jeter and all these guys are out doing warm ups on the field. And I'm like, this guy's drunk. They'll, security
Hmm.
will get him and take him wherever or whatever. So security did come down. And I was with my wife. I was like, watch this. This is going to be cool. And, Jeter and these guys were laughing at him and they noticed this guy. Come to find out it was Jeter's dad.
Oh,
Yeah, he was just
yeah.
motivating him, He was just being a fan
Yeah.
for a second.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought, why are they taking this guy up to the box seats? That's why.
uh, be outspoken, you get some special
No,
treatment. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. No
Mhm.
doubt about it, man. If you're Derek Jeter's dad, you can do whatever you want, just about.
Oh,
But
yeah, for sure.
um, we're just really happy to have you on the show and on the podcast. So we're looking to you got all kinds of platforms here that you people can get this record on today. I mean, I know there's
Yeah.
Spotify because it popped up on my alerts today. So
Hmm. Yeah, it's available on all the streaming services of all sorts, and you can buy it directly from me as well. And there's plenty of outlets,
where
to
can they
find my
buy it
music. So
directly from you, sir?
directly from me at
Well,
justinmoses.com.
there you go,
That
folks. You can't say that you
fantastical
that you don't know
website.
where to get this record. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, I mean it.
you're on Facebook
Yeah,
and Instagram and all this stuff too. People can come by and get in your personal business there.
yeah. Follow me. Get all up in it. Yeah, no, I'm trying to be present on all the socials. It's
Yeah.
an interesting time to try to keep up with everything,
And it's an odd time to
but I'm doing my
want to
best.
be on social media. Let me tell you, I'm just so
It
tired of
is.
hearing all kinds of craziness a lot of times. Sometimes it's good to take a break.
Yeah, it's great to take a break, but don't take it right now. Get on there and check out
Not today.
all these nice posts about these nice records that are coming out. No, no,
Dear
I
Justin,
hear you. Like
I'm outside your house.
oh
You don't want that.
no, no, don't want that. But
Actually, could probably
no,
happen.
it is an interesting time in a lot of ways for a lot of reasons,
Hmm.
and I felt weird at times, even like it's like you're putting out music and you've got to post about it, but there's been times where it feels weird to post about music when all these other
Hmm.
things are going on.
That's right.
Like, yeah, it's like I don't want people to think I'm oblivious or that I don't care about the state of the
Yeah,
world.
exactly.
But at the same time, I worked hard on this music, and I want people, if they can spare a few minutes to check it out, to do that too. So it's like I feel a certain obligation in addition to just the idea of wanting to get it out there, to post about it and try to be present with everybody as much as I can anyway.
Well, you have to. I mean, you're in the.
Yeah.
This is a business, and sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, we as individuals kind of forget that for just a moment, and but it is something that you make a living doing, and people are starting to realize that being out on the road touring and things like that are always to support your actual work that you do in the studio. And
Yeah.
but it's we're not I don't think anybody's oblivious to what's happening in the United States and in the world, and with a
Yeah, yeah.
pandemic, and we just changed presidents, and that's normally an uncertain time for everybody. So it's
Sure.
something we all have to deal with. But
Mhm.
it's you're exactly right. It's tough to be outside of that loop, but you got to concentrate on what's important as far as business goes right now. So
Yep.
got to put food on the
It's
plate. I mean,
yeah, you got to try to anyway, if it's possible. These no, it's
Well, what record label are you with now?
Mountain Fever Records.
Yeah, Mark
Yeah,
Hodges and those guys.
Mark Hodges. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Good, good friend of the
Mark.
good friend of the show. He's a great fellow.
He's a great guy. He contacted me, I guess, in 2019 with the idea of us doing a record together, and it didn't take us long because I had met Mark and I sort of knew him a little bit, but not a whole lot. But I really liked him as soon as we really got to talking and everything, and uh, and yeah, it made a lot of sense for me to do this record with him. So I'm really happy with the relationship so far. So
Mark is a
and
great
hopefully
guy.
hope
He's a very intelligent person. A lot of people don't know this. He's very highly educated, and um, I don't want to get in his business or say, say anything too much about him, but he's a great fella. He's one of these guys
yeah.
that you can, if you're in business with him, you can count on what he tells you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I found that to be the case so far. So
Yeah.
and I hopefully he can feel the same that hopefully I'm trying to live up to whatever we've discussed, and trying to do my best to make a record that he can be proud of and hopefully get out there to some people. So
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
yeah, it's
I'm.
been
If it doesn't happen, it's not for lack of ability on your part. Um, you know, and now who does? Did you play the resonator on this record? Or
I I played it on all the songs except for two of
yeah,
them. And Jerry Douglas played dobro on "Looking for a Place" and the last song on the record, "Locust Hill" instrumental
yeah.
song.
Now, how
Yeah,
was it?
the
How
rest
was
of
it
it
like?
is
What was it like
me.
working with J Man? He's
Well, it was awesome. Like I've had a chance to play with him a couple of times. Well, a few times, over the last 2 3 years or whatever, and
mm-hmm,
it's always fun because I mean that's a sound like his dobro that I've had in my ears since I've cared anything about music
mm-hmm.
really. Like, and it's been one of those sounds that I really latched onto and love so much. And he's always been super nice to me. And when I contacted him about making this record, he's one of the ones like during this time, a lot of things are being done virtually,
Mm-hmm.
and um, we tracked a lot of this stuff in the studio, and all I actually finished up the record really before the pandemic started, but but he did his tracks. I sent tracks to a few people, and he was one of the ones that did. So he did his stuff and sent it to me, and it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, incredible man too.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
I met him when he was touring with the Earls of Leicester a few years ago in Johnson City, Tennessee, at
Hmm.
ETSU. Actually, um, had just started a relationship with those guys, working with the college a little bit, and man, these guys were great.
Hmm.
Gosh, I mean, it was like foot stomping, man. If there was enough room, somebody was, buck dancing. It was just something else. I mean, it just it was an experience. If they ever start touring again and they, get back together and do what they were doing, I would recommend very highly go check that show out. You get some of the best musicians in the country and in the world right there in front of your
Well, you
face.
yeah, you mentioned earlier. I don't remember if this was on air or off that about the different styles of music and the different forms of traditional or contemporary and bluegrass. But
Hmm.
those are guys that can do either one. But when they get together and do the traditional thing, it feels so authentic because it is with them. And it's one of those things. If you want to experience that, that's a good way to do it with those
Exactly.
guys.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing to me how they can take what they probably learned as a child or from a relative when they were younger, um,
Yeah.
or their musical heroes, and make that happen and flow and go all the way through their life to where they are now. I mean, none of those guys are spring chickens, but they're very seasoned musicians that
Oh.
know exactly
Yeah.
how to put it out there and make you feel like you're saying. And so, yeah, it was quite an experience. But Jerry Douglas and Sean Camp and all those guys were there, and Um, very great people. But what's the best show? Oops, there we go. What's the best show you've ever gone to?
Oh man, that is a really tough question.
Yeah.
I'll give you a few that stick out in my mind.
Okay.
And as as a younger like kid growing up and stuff, I didn't really get to go to a lot of music shows that were high profile or anything like that. As I've gotten older, I've gotten to do a few more. But one when I was a teenager that I remember going to in particular was I think it was at the Bijou Theater in Knoxville or something like that.
Yeah. That's legendary
Um,
right there.
yeah, and it was Tony Rice, Bela Fleck,
Oh my
Sam
gosh.
Bush, Stuart Duncan, and probably Edgar Meyer on bass or something like that. But it was just an incredible show, and to have gotten to see that band play at that age, I mean, it made such an impression on me how phenomenal
Now, how old were
of
you?
musicianship. Probably that's probably when I was maybe 16 or something like
Wow.
that. I want to say. But that's when it sticks out in my mind as being great. But I also got to go after that to several shows. I remember seeing Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder at the Tennessee or the Bijou Theater. One of those. It's probably the Tennessee Theater,
Wow.
um, and uh, and that just being phenomenal. And then there's several times I've gotten to see Alison Krauss and Union Station that I was just blown away by how much it sounded like the record,
I'm
how much
telling
they
you.
just were able to just perform the songs just to perfection. I mean, to a level that like it just it's just something to see that in person and hear it and know that it's actually coming out of them just exactly like you're seeing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got to interview Skaggs um, when he came to the oh man, it was a theater in Abingdon, Virginia that we saw him at, and they had sold it out. They had Trey Hensley and Rob Ikes open it up for him, if you can believe that. I mean, the ticket should have been $200, but I think it was like a $60, $75 ticket, which was well worth it.
Uh-huh.
500, 600 seats, beautiful theater,
It's a good
and
thing they didn't charge by the note, right? I
oh my
mean, with
gosh!
with
But
all those
I got
guys
to
like
sit
it's
in on the sound check. And I
yeah.
was the only person there, and a friend of mine was behind me, and he took my picture of me in this empty theater. But I'm sitting there listening to sound check. It was like I was getting serenaded or something. But it was even sound check was incredible. I mean, guys like Jake Workman were, up there next to
Hmm.
Ricky,
Oh
and
yeah.
things were perfect. They not a missed note that I heard. It was like a you cranked up a machine or something and said, "Okay, play this." And
Yeah.
and Trey and Rob were no slouches either. I mean, my gosh,
Oh
what a
no.
night. And you just,
Rob's
doing this for say, well, close to 10, 12 years now, I've been able to see these things. I saw Dr.
mhm,
Ralph and got to interview him before he passed. And
yeah.
I mean, on and on, I'm like you, but every one of these shows left a mark on me, you know,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. You driving home from one of these shows and you're thinking, wow, I just saw Dr. Ralph Stanley. And when he cranked out, "Oh Death" or "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," songs from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," holy
Mhm.
crap, what do you do? I mean, it's like chills from head to toe. I mean, I'm getting chills right now just thinking about this man. He
Mhm.
was just a tremendous person, and he made an incredible. Um, he left an incredible piece of him with everywhere he went. It was strange, but he knew that that was his job. He knew that
Oh
that's what
yeah.
he had to do. And
Mhm. Well, I remember going to some of those shows and leaving feeling a certain way, and it's hard to nail it down into words,
hmm
sometimes exactly what that meant because I knew I wanted to do that. But to say I want to do that, what does that mean? Because it
Mm-hmm.
could mean a lot of different things. But I think in addition to just playing music, I think I knew somewhere down deep that I wanted to make other people at some point feel exactly how I felt
That's
in
right.
that moment. Yeah. I think that was the underlying truth of what I was feeling in that moment is like, oh, I want to be able to
That's
to
right.
make somebody feel like I feel right now. And I still feel that way about playing music. That's to me the ultimate. It's one thing as a musician, you want other musicians to respect you, as a
Right.
musician for whatever that means, or what you choose to do, or all those sort of things. But at the heart of it, it's about how you make somebody feel.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's some people like to sing songs that make people sad, and it's a great thing. But and some people
Sure.
like to play happy songs, and whatever it is, it's like I just want them to go away at some point with something like feeling something.
Exactly. That's the whole thing about music. I mean, my whole life it's been that way for me. I've
Yeah,
um, always had an emotional attachment to music. Since I was a baby.
yeah.
Um, when I was a small baby, I mean, just a few days old, I lived in Richmond, Virginia, with my parents, of course, and they brought me home and they set me in the top drawer of a chest of drawers because they didn't have the crib together yet.
Yeah.
And my mom put pillows and blankets in there, and there was a console stereo on top of this. And I remember the stereo because I remember my mom still had it a long time ago. And
Hmm.
they would put me in there, and to get me to sleep, they would turn, country music on that thing. And my mom said every time she turned it off, I would wake up and I would start crying. But when she
Oh.
turned the music on, it's that emotional attachment to music that you have, um,
Yeah.
that a lot of people have.
Hmm.
But it's, everybody has to know their role in all this. And your job is to cause that emotional response to these people through what comes into your heart as far as your work.
Yeah.
And it's my job just to say, here's Justin Moses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or to be the fantastic host of the show and
Oh my
carry it forward.
God. What are you wanting?
Hey.
I don't have any money, man. Okay. Oh, well, man, it's been a
Well,
ball just sitting here talking to you. We got to get together and chat sometime again when we got some more time. But
we'll do it. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, you're the spotlight artist of the week
There's
right here, and we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna play three songs. I think we're gonna play the Tominsky tune. We're gonna play "Fall Like Rain." Man, I
Mhm.
love that song. First time I heard that song, it was
Yeah.
just one of those, reminded me of an old country song in the
Yeah.
beginning. Where there's you doing a lot of almost a cappella stuff. But
Yeah, it starts with just guitar. Yeah, that's Brian Sutton on the front of that song playing the guitar, and then I'm joining in a little bit, I guess, with some dobro stuff. But
hmm yeah, but
yeah,
it's
I remember in the studio when we cut that track. We cut 3 or 4 tunes that day, and at the end of the day, I heard that one back, and the track felt so good.
oh
I was like, oh
yeah.
man, this is going to be the first track on the record.
I remember when I got the announcement when that first came out, and I was like, man, this cat he's got it together, and that's we put that thing on the show like right off. Um,
Well, that is an Eric Clapton song,
oh really?
and yeah,
I
yeah,
had
it
no
is,
idea.
and yeah, yeah. So I have, when I was about trying to put the record together, I called some of my friends to see if they had songs. One of them was Keith Garrett, who I was in a band with for a while. So I call him up and I'm like, do you have any new songs that I might be able to use on this record? And he said, no, I've not really written much lately, but there's this Eric Clapton song that I think would be good for you. And he said, because it has that high note. He knew I sang a lot of tenor and
Yeah.
I could sing high. And so I went and checked it out, and I was like, yeah, I think I can make something bluegrass out of that. And so I owe a lot of that to him. There's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of my ideas in this record,
Mm-hmm.
and especially like the instrumental stuff and tunes and stuff like that. But I have so many great friends in music that there's a lot of ideas that come from the friends of mine that really add so much to the mix, and
Wow.
even just the idea to do that song was my one of my friends. So yeah, it takes a village to do anything these days, but it's nice to have that community around you, and that you can call up and be like, hey, have you got any songs, because
Exactly.
maybe they got songs or maybe they got ideas. So
That's right,
yeah,
man. And hopefully they got a
yeah,
little bit of both. I mean, but there's some
right,
good tracks on
yeah.
this song. And I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised. I recommend to sit down and listen to this album all the way through. And are you going to put it out on vinyl?
Man, there's been a little bit of talk about that. I'm not real
You
sure
should. You
yet,
should.
honestly. Yeah, yeah. I think people would be open to that. I've seen it with Sierra's music a lot. Like
Mm-hmm.
that seems to be more of the thing that people are buying these days than CDs. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm definitely it's in the pipeline of consideration
I
for
got
sure.
you. I got you. Vinyl's what saved my life a few times, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Especially when you go from the transition from CDs to digital music, I feel like I lost something somewhere.
yeah.
Sound quality, I don't know what it was. Maybe I'm just losing
Well,
my
you
hearing. I
lose.
don't know. But
Well, you lose a lot of things. You lose the credits in a lot of cases. Like a
mhm.
lot of people like just stream the music and don't know who's doing what. And I know to a lot of people that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But it matters a lot to musicians and people that care about
that's right.
that sort of thing. And it's like something that I would like to see people get more interested in, like how these things come together, and realize that you're buying this package because all this effort was put into putting all this together. It wasn't just the artist,
Mhm.
it was a lot of other people involved in it. So
It's true. And it's
yeah, yeah,
it's like you're saying, just telling me a second ago who played the guitar on the intro of that song. That means something to that guy because
oh yeah, yeah,
that's his work and that's what he does, and he feels that way, exact same way that you feel about what you do, and everybody else
hmm.
feels about what they do. So everybody's putting their little piece into this thing, but this is a great piece of work, and I think you're
I've
going to
thought
be
about
very proud
advertising
of
it.
what happens with this.
Oh man, thank you. I've thought about advertising it as like, well, buy this little package here. It's like a photo book, and it has, and you can use this little disc as a coaster or whatever. It's a, you can use the way or another and stream the music all you want.
Oh my god.
You got to think of new ways of promoting these
That's
products.
right. That's so true,
Yeah.
man. Well, dude, I'm gonna let you go. Sounds like you got
Okay.
plenty to do today with doing a lot of
Yeah.
press and stuff with this record coming out. So, um, but we got you first.
Yeah. We're
Thank
getting.
God.
Hey, thank you for having me on. I really do
Hey,
appreciate
dude,
it.
no problem whatsoever. We will be talking in the future. Okay.
Sounds
All
good.
right, folks.
We still got areas to
Yes,
explore,
we
so
do, man. We can
yeah,
talk about stuff for hours. Okay, that's gonna be the good
yeah.
thing. So everybody watch out for the next podcast with Justin Moses. My God. All
Yeah.
right, man. Thanks for jumping in with us. Rick Dollar here. And everybody buy Justin Moses' new record. Even if you have to download it, stream it, whatever you got to do, check this record out. It's well worth what you are going to get. No doubt about it. So, Justin, take it easy, brother.
All
All
right,
right.
thanks. Nice to talk
All
to you.
right. Talk to you soon.